All right, so I need to make a video on this because this topic is getting out of hand of the Division 2 pre-orders being 6 times higher than the Division 1 on PC because it's gone to the Epic Game Store. That's not the case. It's way more than that. And one of my favorite YouTube channels, Review Tech USA, actually made a video on this. He's been misled like a lot of people, and I'm not calling him out for this. A lot of people have been misled by this, and I fully understand why someone would be misled by this, because the majority of articles leave out the facts because they were probably told to, or they're just have some sort of agenda to try and push the Epic Game Store. Everyone's trying to make it out like this is because of the Epic Game Store. It sort of is if you want to say it's because people are especially saying fuck you to the Epic Game Store, because these aren't the Epic Game Store pre-orders. These are the Uplay pre-orders that are so high. It's because people are saying F you to the Epic Game Store. They're pre-ordering it directly on Uplay, which isn't a big deal to people because they can buy it on another platform. Unlike Metro Exodus, they can only buy it on the Epic Game Store for that game. With the Division 2, you can still buy the game on Uplay. Most people already have Uplay installed because of the fact that previous Ubisoft games required you to have Uplay installed and have an account in order to play their previous games. It was an extra layer of DRM. You had to have Uplay. So here's an article that actually lays out the facts, and I want to read it. It's from VG247. Props to them for actually making a true and honest article about the topic and not just making it seem like it was because the Epic Game Store. So let's go through it. Ubisoft explains why the Division 2 ditched Steam, says PC pre-orders are already beating the original game. Despite the controversy, Ubisoft is very happy with its decision to sell the Division 2 on the Epic Game Store and not Steam. Ubisoft, you're not selling the game on Epic Store, you're selling it on Uplay. Stop fucking kidding yourself. Ubisoft published its earnings for the third quarter of fiscal year 2019 overnight. During a call to investors, CEO Yves Guillemot, I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, talked a bit about the Division 2 skipping Steam to an Epic Store exclusive. Guillemot said the digital distribution landscape is challenging as every provider fights for great content. The reason why Ubisoft made this decision, however, has more to do with its own store, Uplay. So here's a quote from Guillemot himself of what he told investors. With this deal, we seized an opportunity to increase player exposure to our own store, while at the same time supporting a partner that greatly values our games and provides materially better terms. And according to Guillemot, it's been a success so far. The Division 2 pre-orders on PC are already higher than the original game. This is especially true for Ubisoft's own store, where pre-orders are 6 times higher on PC. Let me restate that. This is especially true for Ubisoft's own store, where pre-orders are 6 times higher on PC, on their own store. People pre-ordered it on Uplay more because they were saying F you to the Epic Game Store, and nobody is buying it on the Epic Game Store, therefore more sales and pre-orders on Uplay. And he followed that up with this statement: we believe this deal is a long-term positive for Ubisoft. So no, the Epic Game Store did not earn more pre-orders with the Division 2 than Steam did with the Division 1. The Division 2 got 6 times more pre-orders on Uplay than that of the Division 1, thanks to everyone saying F you to Epic Game Store. I'm sorry, but exclusives are not a good thing. That is not positive competition. That is anti-consumer, taking away people's options for where they can get games. That's not competition when you're taking away the competition. Epic is monetarily supporting the companies for these exclusives so that they aren't put on Steam, taking away people's option to use Steam in the first place and forcing people to use the Epic Game Store. That is not a good thing. That is not a good way of going about competition, no matter the way that you put it. The only good that could come of it is Steam changing a little bit, but that would have happened either way without these exclusives because of the revenue share and all the other good things that would have already pulled away developers. My point is the Epic Game Store could have pulled away publishers and developers with their higher revenue shares and some of the other benefits that they have over Steam, and Steam would have changed anyway. However, these exclusives, all they're doing is pissing off the gaming community on PC because you're ripping away one of the biggest options and one of the most frequently used options for all of those users. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. People wouldn't have a problem with the Epic Game Store. In fact, a lot of people would probably support it more if they didn't pay for exclusive deals. However, since they're ripping away products from the Steam store page weeks before they release and forcing it to be exclusive on the Epic Game Store, that is what pisses people off, and it's not okay. Everything other than the exclusives is great about the Epic Game Store, but the exclusives need to go. They are not a positive unless it's an indie game that needs the monetary help, not just a big AAA publisher that wants some extra money in their pocket. Because if you actually think any of that money is going to the developers and not just the executives, you're very wrong. So I just wanted to quickly cover this topic and get rid of this misinformation, as a lot of people are being fooled, including some of my favorite creators. So I just want to put this out there, get rid of that misinformation. It is not because of the Epic Game Store. The Epic Game Store did not get 6 times the pre-orders over the Division. That is not the case. It's Uplay numbers. So if you found this video informative whatsoever, please smack that like button down below, subscribe to join the good fight if you haven't already, and ring that bell icon to stay updated in all of my future videos. Would be super greatly appreciated as always. And until next time, this is Epoxy signing off.